Hello again, lovely friends. Welcome back to Bubbling Beyond Sixties, where we celebrate life after 60 with wisdom, warmth, and just a little bit of sass. Today I want to talk about something many of us have either experienced, seen, or whispered about over coffee with our besties. Why do some women start to feel distant from their husbands as they grow older? Now, before anyone gets defensive, it's not always about love fading. Most times, it's not even about love at all. It's more about how we show up for each other, especially as life changes, bodies change, and priorities shift. So grab a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's have an honest heart-to-heart. Number 1 is when the emotional backpack gets too heavy. You know what I'm talking about? That invisible load we carry, the mental calendar, the emotional caretaker, the planner of everything from doctor appointments to who brings the casseroles to Sunday lunch. When you're younger, it feels manageable, but by the time you hit your 60s, honey, that backpack is full of bricks. I remember my friend Carol once told me, "I don't mind cooking dinner, but I do mind being the only one who remembers it needs to be done." Gentlemen, if you haven't noticed, your wife may be tired, not just physically, but emotionally, and sometimes she doesn't need help doing the dishes. She just wants you to notice them piled up and offer to wash them. Because sometimes love speaks through actions, not words. Number 2, conversations. Become same old, same old. Let's be real. When you've been married for decades, conversations can fall into ruts. How was your day? Becomes a ritual question with a predictable answer. But here's the thing. Women crave meaningful connection. We want to hear what's on your mind, what makes you laugh, what worries you now that the kids are gone and retirement has kicked in. One of my subscribers shared that her husband hadn't asked her anything deeper than, "What's for dinner?" in months. She said, "I didn't stop loving him. I just stopped feeling loved." So fellas, try asking, "How are you really doing?" Or, "What's something new you'd like to learn this year?" You might be surprised what opens up. Number 3, housework never ends. And it feels unequal. Even though we're in 2025, studies still show that women do the lion's share of housework, even after retirement. Imagine this. You finally retire. You dreamed of traveling, volunteering, maybe taking up painting. Instead, you find yourself cleaning up after your husband all day. Again. And he says things like, "I helped. I took out the trash." Sweetheart, taking out the trash once doesn't balance the load of cooking, laundry, grocery shopping, and managing the household finances, not to mention keeping track of family birthdays and medical appointments. If you're a man watching this, take a good look around. Is your wife still running the show while you relax? If so, it's time to step up. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Because fairness feels like love. Number 4, she grew, but he didn't. This one hits hard. As women age, many of us want to explore, evolve, and experience new things. Maybe it's joining a book club, going on solo travel adventures, or learning a new skill. But if your partner isn't growing with you, if he's content sitting in his recliner, watching sports while you dream of hiking Machu Picchu, that gap starts to widen. I had a viewer write in saying, "We used to talk about traveling the world together. Now, he won't even go out for dinner without grumbling." That's not just disappointing, it's lonely. So ask yourself, are you still curious about life? Are you open to trying new things with your wife, even if they're not your usual thing? Because staying connected means staying curious about each other. Number 5 is when intimacy fades and no one talks about it. Intimacy isn't just physical, although that part matters too. It's about feeling desired, appreciated, and emotionally close. As we age, health changes, medications kick in, and sex might not be what it used to be. But that doesn't mean intimacy has to disappear. The problem comes when couples stop trying, when touch becomes rare, when compliments stop, when you forget how good it feels to hold hand, sit close, or dance in the kitchen while making dinner. One woman told me, "I miss being touched. Not just for romance, just to know he still sees me as someone worth touching." So gentlemen, hold her hand, compliment her hair, say, "I missed you," even if you were just in another room. Small gestures keep the flame alive. Now let's talk about number 6. Retirement isn't all sunshine and golf. Retirement sounds amazing on paper. No alarms, no deadlines, endless freedom. But when both of you are home all the time, old habits and imbalances get magnified. Suddenly, she's not just your wife, she's also your cook, cleaner, scheduler, and entertainment director. And if you haven't planned for what retirement actually looks like together, it can feel like a cage instead of a gift. So, plan ahead. Talk about what both of you want. Find hobbies you can enjoy separately and together. Give each other space to breathe. Happy marriages need room to grow, even in retirement. Next, number 7. When she doesn't feel seen anymore. There's nothing lonelier than being married and feeling invisible. You share your thoughts, your dreams, your fears. And he scrolls on his phone or nods absent-mindedly. Over time, she stops sharing. Because why bother? I've heard from so many women who say, I don't argue anymore. I just shut down. That silence? That's not peace. That's pain building silently. So, if you're a husband, practice listening. Not waiting for your turn to speak. Just listen. Make eye contact. Ask follow-up questions. Show her that her words matter to you. Because when you truly listen, you remind her that she's still important to you, and that matters more than diamonds. Let's move on to the last point on this episode. Number 8. Life is short, and she wants more. As we age, we become more aware of time. Friends pass away. We attend more funerals. We start to realize, this is it. And for many women, that realization sparks a quiet reckoning. Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Is this how I want to spend the rest of my life? And if the answer is no, they start to pull away. Not out of spite, out of self-respect. They stop nagging, they stop fighting, they stop hoping, and instead, they focus on themselves. So if you've noticed your wife becoming quieter, more withdrawn, or less affectionate, don't wait until she's made peace with walking away. Start showing up today. All right, my lovelies, whether you're a wife, a husband, or someone simply curious about lasting love, here's what I want you to do. For the husbands, start small. Ask a deep question, offer to cook dinner. Notice when she's overwhelmed and help. Be present. For the wives, don't give up. Don't just walk away quietly. Try having the conversation you've been avoiding. Share your feelings gently and give him a chance to respond. Love doesn't die overnight, and it can be revived with intention, effort, and care. Remember, folks, growing older doesn't mean growing apart. In fact, this stage of life can be the richest, deepest, and most fulfilling if we choose to nurture our relationships. So let's make sure we're not just aging, we're thriving together. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Bubbling Beyond 60s, and tap that bell so you never miss a new episode. And if you have a story to share or a tip that's kept your marriage strong past 60, drop it in the comments below. Let's support each other, learn from each other, and keep bubbling beyond 60 together. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay golden. Big hugs and high fives. You're doing great. Sparkles.